Chief is a family-owned, Nebraska-based company comprised of 7 diverse brands. Chief, trusted, tested, true.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to what is supposed to be the hottest week in Nebraska all summer. Highs are supposed to be above 100 degrees Fahrenheit all week long. It's 8:30 in the morning and I have already broken a sweat just by standing out here. We are starting off this morning by finishing up a job we started last video. So if you missed last video, we were cleaning up a ditch from a farm that we rent. And so there was some pieces and parts from an old pivot that we took to a junkyard. And everything you see on the trailer behind me is stuff that we didn't take to the junkyard. We put on this trailer and took home. So this is our project for today. It looks like a mess right now, and that is because it is. These are old sprinkler nozzles that used to hang off a pivot. We call them drops. So they attach to the pivot here. They've been cut off because they were removed, and then goes down, and then this is a little wobbler that disperses the water. But these sprinklers did not work on the pivot that we had out there. If you guys remember, Grant and I had that pivot re-nozzled. That was several videos ago, before the corn had even sprouted. But then this big, giant metal thing you see underneath all of these sprinkler nozzles is an old pivot bridge. So at that aforementioned farm that we started renting, there's a big draw through the field and the pivot had to walk in this divot, but instead of walking in the divot, I put this big bridge. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a bridge for the pivot, but we didn't need that anymore. We did some dirt work and filled in that hole in the field. And so we are going to repurpose this bridge for something a little bit different, but it still has to do with irrigation. But first we need to get these nozzles off so we can move this giant hunk of metal. We have the JLG and the beginnings of a pallet to hold all of these, because while we don't have a purpose for these, I really think they're in perfect condition. They just didn't work on that particular pivot. So I really think a neighbor or someone could use these on their pivot, or maybe even a pivot that we have in a different field. you want to know how dry we've been, do you see where the grass is green in the ditch? Only where there's rain runoff. Look at this pivot corner that doesn't get any water. Burnt to a crisp. In a roundabout way, that is why we are installing this bridge. But it won't be a pivot bridge anymore. It is going to be an ATV bridge. And it is going to help us to get out to the pivot point and keep those pivots running in circles, keep our crops watered so that they stay alive until harvest. So if you see that fence up there, right here is the dividing line between the neighbor's property and our property. And this is that big ditch I was referencing. To get out to the pivot, we've been having to drive through this, and I'm realizing it doesn't look that bad now, but when the pivot is on, pumping hundreds of gallons of water a minute, this thing gets filled up, it gets really muddy, possibility of getting stuck, and Ranger is always getting absolutely filthy. So we figured that old pivot bridge would make the perfect ATV bridge for right here. And so not only can we use it to get to our pivot point, but the neighbor can use it to cross this big drop. So it's really a win-win for both of us. Look at how big this corn is getting. Holy cow. Now that the bridge is installed and tested, I think we need a little bit of a block down to really get the machine over, but it holds up. So now it's time to actually go start this pivot.
If I would have made the bridge myself, it would have been much wider, but for a free bridge, I'll take it. Boom, here we are.
This is one of the few John Deere well motors that we have.
It's a pretty nice little motor.
It is.
It always runs really good.
Let's see if she fires up. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh,
Sounds like a dead battery to me.
battery's dead.
Thank goodness Grant got the best, maybe not the best, the most useful Christmas gift. When I tell you, I think we use this gift every single day from his mom last Christmas. Pause for dramatic effect. This thing.
For the guy who always has battery trouble.
It's really heavy, but this thing is awesome. Think it'll start now?
Oh yeah, 100%.
nozzles have been out in full force since 4th of July. Ears are starting to fill out. They've been pollinated. And they're just going to get bigger and bigger.
Circle left, then we'll have to fill the tank.
That's a big diesel tank because this is a diesel well motor. Meaning, so if you didn't hear what Grant said, there is only one circle left of diesel left in the tank. Then we need to call a truck to come out and fill it up, or we'll use a fuel trailer. That feels so good. Whew. And this is what the bridge was made for. Oh, do you guys see that rainbow? That's pretty. Excellent. Nice work.
That works well, just like it's supposed to.
Pivot bridge turned ATV bridge installed and pivot turned on, meaning the crops are getting watered. Perfect start to the day. I do want to say before we close out the video, a huge thank you to anyone who has bought our hats or our shirts or our stickers that we created with Bunker branding. It means the world that you guys like the designs that we came up with. And I would love to create some more for you guys because you guys seem to really like it. So if you haven't checked that out yet, there's a link in the description, or you can just click the pictures of it right below this video. So thank you to Bunker Branding for helping us out with that. And thank you so much to you guys for supporting us in that way. Thank you for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.